Thank you, everyone. We're discussing the role of broadband in higher education, and we have an extremely distinguished panel of actual broadband providers, a representative from AT&T and also from New Knoxville Telephone Company, a small regional carrier, and then we have some representatives from universities and colleges throughout the state of Ohio. And so we'll really be able to dive into this subject and find out how broadband is helping these organizations to thrive and grow and develop, and also some of the challenges that they face.
So, you know, when you talk about broadband, you almost have to put cloud in the same statement, because as we've untethered things in our business, you know, you no longer have to be, you know, in a classroom, et cetera. I'm currently working on a project to make those county sites feel and act like you're on campus. Therein lies the challenge. And the only way we get to the cloud is we rely on the people in this room.
So at Hocking College, we are in the beautiful hills of Southern Ohio, and I have faculty and staff and students who are still running on dial-up. Now, let me tell you what that means for us. We are behind in delivering online education. And the reason we're behind is because you don't deliver it in text anymore. Now, they can receive text, but that's about it. We deliver today in interactive gaming, video, high def, things that we can't do in a dial-up environment. Today, if you're in higher education, there's hardly anybody that can say they haven't taught an online class. If you're a student, there's very few that will say they haven't had an online class. But we're at Hocking College are still struggling to be able to provide that to our students and for our faculty to be able to work like everybody else in the state works, both from their office on our campus and from their home.
The promise of 5G is just very exciting. The bandwidth it can deliver, the reduction in latency, the reliability of it. How will we fill in the gaps with 5G where AT&T or Verizon is not going to take it?
AT&T was one of the very first to really have a really bona fide 3G rollout. And the way that we had our architecture built was we were slowly, gradually kind of moving to 4G, and then you had Verizon, I think, that was really, you know, first to market, you know, more nationally with a 4G footprint, and, you know, that brought, you know, some of the others along, including AT&T. So I think as, you know, you have Verizon and AT&T leading a charge, maybe nationally, you're gonna have other providers wanting to do the same to hold their customer base.
How much bandwidth do I need to succeed as a student?
Anything less than 25 megabits doesn't cut it. And so if you're gonna be broadcasting a video, receiving a video, and simultaneously doing something interactive, and there's any chance anyone else is on your internet connection doing anything, you really need at least 25 megabits to be successful.
Do all of your colleges and universities offer online degrees?
There will always be some things that will be a challenge for us at Hocking College because we're very hands-on. You know, we teach forestry, as an example. It's very hard to teach chainsaw online, okay? At one point in my time, I thought you couldn't teach speech online, but I've learned you can, and do it very effectively.
The cost of higher education continues to increase. Can broadband have a role in making it more affordable? Bill, what do you think?
Well, yeah, I mean, the affordability initiatives we're looking at is in textbooks, et cetera, in order to have access to those resources. We're driving a lot of cost out for our students with digital online textbooks, and in many cases, they're free. So it's an uphill battle, but absolutely. So in the platforms that we're delivering, we're driving costs out. When we host our LMS with Instructure and we move to the cloud on a lot of fronts, it's driving cost out of our business, which in our case really helps us not necessarily drive cost out of education, but maintain the current price structure.
One idea that has been approached to us by our Student Senate and others is why can we not talk about inclusive access in the context of connectivity, right? Wherein the institutions would make a partnership with the providers, and the assumption would be that our students would use said providers in addressing their connectivity need. It's not something we have investigated, but I think it's an interesting idea that could allow us to embrace more technologies that are network dependent that drive down the cost of education further.
So the other piece of all of this is, are there jobs in the regions that we're talking about, rural areas in particular, for the students when they complete their education? And without broadband access in the rural areas, it's just like a site locator is not going to look at a region that doesn't have water, sewer, power sufficient and so forth for their operations. Likewise, broadband.
You know, I wouldn't want to put all the all the responsibility on the institutions to go ahead and lower costs too. We've engaged in something through AT&T Inspire, which is our philanthropical give that we do with education. So what we've done is we've partnered with institutions to help deliver or develop curriculum that's more specialized for big data and data analytics, things like that, whatever our need is, and try to create some scholarship opportunities to drive down the cost of that education and make all of the opportunities for remote learning. So there's nothing in the classroom they have to do.
New Knoxville Telephone Company is also involved in taking high school students and getting them incorporated into some type of a program. For instance, in Shelby County, we have Workforce Partnership, and we take students and move them from the classroom into the soft skill setting that's funded by a lot of private business to educate the students on what's available once they're ready to go to college. So we're trying to bring them into an environment where they can start to understand what education they really want, move them into an internship where they can test that skill and see if it's really what their passion is, and then move them on to higher education.
How important is broadband to campus safety and security?
It's significant. I mean, we have, I won't throw a number out, but we have a significant number of emergency phones, you know, maybe 3,000 cameras. And then our officers rely on devices and our cell carrier partners, and partners like Cradlepoint, to do their day-to-day operations. And then, so you got the day-to-day business, but then, you know, November 28th last year, we had an incident on campus, and then our challenge was to communicate effectively to people, you know, to secure in place, to flee, and then for us to communicate what was going on. So I don't think there's anything more important, quite frankly. It's probably what keeps me awake more at night, is making sure that we're providing those tools and those communication paths for when those bad things happen. Because you've got to be able to communicate.
One of the things I'm most proud of that we've been able to do is deliver in our area high schools, K-12s, college curriculum for our students. We are saving families thousands of dollars in tuition, college tuition, by delivering college programs, college courses on career pathways. So helping students start in high school but advance in a career pathway that's meaningful in areas like health and cybersecurity and business and agriculture, all through using the resources available through video conferencing, through online education, and so forth. So these students, some starting as young as freshmen in high school with our programs, are graduating with a full year of college. And we're working on, with one of our schools right now, that they'll graduate actually with an associate degree at the end of their high school curriculum. So that's meaningful to families in our community that often would struggle to send their kids to school at all beyond high school, now having all of that paid for and them not having to pay for it directly. Huge difference.
What we always did when there was a problem with our wireless infrastructure too, we'd roll out a kind of a cell on wheels, we called them a cow, and we'd roll them out. We could stick it up for a big event, you could have, you know, good connectivity. But what we found through a lot of these disasters, and what we're migrating towards, is putting, you know, miniature cells on drones. And I read a couple stories this year, you know, in a lot of those instances where we were able to actually take that technology and put it aerial, and we were able to bring things back online just that much more rapidly. So I think, you know, again, the evolution of what we're doing, the capabilities of what we have are, you know, just, you know, are mind-boggling.
The wow for me is in our agricultural college, the use of cellular technology and drones in the farms around the state. There's some amazing work that's being done. They're driverless tractors, and you go out to the Farm Science Review, and we're pushing the envelope.
I think broadband itself allows you to have those wow moments when something you plan and then technology matures, and it all of a sudden you have a product that people want in the masses. And you know, for a small company in Ohio, that we, you know, our maximum line count was 1,100 customers. And today we have a broadband company that on a weekly basis we reach 172,000 people on Facebook, and we market products to 42 different states. You know, that's the power of broadband and the ability to market yourself. So I think that's the wow moment of a company.